What surprised me, because we moved to a house that is predominantly Spanish people around us, and they're not young people. You can say they're elderly or they're at a certain age. What I've noticed is, and what surprised me is, there's no prejudice from them.
Welcome to Muy Chulo, the podcast where conversations shape ideas and make an impact. I am Dico Zimmer. I'm really glad that you are here with me, and today I have a special guest here, client of mine and friend from New Zealand, Ruscoe. Welcome on board, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. Nice to have you as a client and friend.
Oh, yeah.
And today we're going to dive into a conversation talking about different topics. Why did you move from New Zealand to live in Spain? You're going to talk about your work here as a fashion designer. And also we're going to talk about gays in Spain, LGBT community, because we are living in Spain and a country that is very open to gays and LGBT community. We know many people watch us from all over the world and people are looking for information about this kind of things. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
First, I wanted to ask you, why did you move to Spain?
Well, it's primarily because in New Zealand, the customer or the market that I was in wasn't that big, and I was trying to test what I can do to be able to tap onto the European market. That's one of the reasons why. And the second is my husband is from the UK, and New Zealand is just too far to be able to be close to family, especially at the age of my in-laws. So we just want to move somewhere closer so that we can have or spend some more time with them as well.
You were a fashion designer, right?
Yeah.
Can you describe a little bit about your work? It's quite a unique work. What do you mostly do for your work and your clients?
Yeah, so I specialize in couture, evening wear for women's. I do some men's wear as well, but I started in 2018 when I was introduced by New Zealand Fashion Week as one of the emerging couture designers in the country. So I did Fashion Week, and then from then on, I just did pretty much my own limited ready to wear, but I mostly do made to measure, like wedding gowns, evening wear. But it's kind of an artisan type of job, not necessarily like a fashion designer who just designs, because I do everything from the bottom up, you can say that. I do pattern making, to the pattern making, to the sewing, because I love doing it. So it's pretty much just like a niche set of clients. It's not fast fashion as they say these days. So that's what I do.
Okay. Good to understand a bit more about this fashion designer and this uniqueness of this work. I wanted to ask you also about the work visa, because you came from New Zealand and your husband is from UK. So you both are not allowed to live here originally. How did you deal with that? How did you get your work visa to be able to live here and work?
So I'm from the Philippines, and I moved to New Zealand in my 20s. So I'm a Kiwi citizen. My husband is British, and he moved to New Zealand, so he's a Kiwi citizen. So we're both Kiwis, and we're both from New Zealand. Going to Spain, it's a bit tricky, I would say. It's quite good for citizens such as Kiwis, but not, say, for example, for Filipinos. It's going to be harder for them if I'm on a Filipino passport. But applying for the visa took a bit of time, because first and foremost, we applied for an autonomo visa, if I'm not mistaken. It's called autonomo. It's like I'm self-employed. The first few steps were quite tedious because you need to write down your business plan. What I've written is a 5-year business plan, which was presented by our lawyers to ATA, if I'm not mistaken. They called ATA. It's like a business association of autonomous here in Spain, and they got them approved. So when you've written your business plan, then you have to have it approved by the ATA business community here in Spain for them to see that it's viable and it's approvable. Pretty much. That's the first few steps we did. There were a lot of hurdles, just because the Spanish government or immigration was also asking for an address. But it was a bit backwards in my thinking, and logically probably it's not ticking in my head, because why are you asking for an address when we don't even have the right to work yet?
Yeah.
So because you need
how
to
did you
apply.
manage that, to have an address, or they allowed you to not have an address for having the work visa?
That's when I contacted you. Remember? Because we were watching vlogs about Spain, Estepona, Costa del Sol, and we stumbled upon these gay couple, the Paxpan people. I think one of the videos, you were in it, and you were explaining how to get the visa, what you need to do, so on and so forth. At that moment, we're already in the dilemma of we need to have an address for us to be able to continue the application of the work permit. And that is when I contacted you, which you actually helped us. And you didn't even know that we're looking to buy a property. We were just like trying to rent a property so that we can have an address to put into the application. But luckily, to cut the story short, we came here, we met you, and then we were looking for a property. You helped us find the right property for us. But to cut the story short, the immigration that we are working with in New Zealand came back and said that our work permit has been approved. We don't actually know why up until now, the reason why, but we are guessing that because I've written to them a couple of times explaining to them that why are you asking for an address when we don't even have the right to work yet? So logically it's not ticking in my head. But then again, we were able to acquire for an address because we bought the house. So we've got the reservation contract, so on and so forth, which we presented also to the immigration in New Zealand, because you have to apply within your country. You couldn't apply straight to Spain immigration. You need to apply within your country, the embassy in New Zealand. It was a bit difficult, I would say, because there are a few steps that you need to do, especially when you're applying for a visa, a work autonomo visa. It's difficult, but we got there.
You got there. Yeah, that's great. It's good to have this conversation with you because you became a client of mine, and we found a good property for you and your husband, and you came to us because of the video we shot. I'm doing my English classes now. I'm getting better. My English teacher is from South Africa. It's really amazing to be able to create some content and help people who are watching us from all over the world, and at the same time practice and improve on the English. I followed your journey when you came here and you got the work visa done. Congratulations. And the people who are watching us, they are maybe in the same situation, maybe looking for information to move to Spain. They don't know if they can work here legally. In your case, you created a business plan and you presented to the government, Spain government, showing that you have special skills. You're going to invest in your business, you're going to open a business, and you are bringing value to the nation, to the country. So why not to allow you to work here? And that's the situation of many people who are not sure if they can have a work permit here. There is many different ways for you to have this visa to live here, but this is one of them. I think it's important for the people to know we can also guide them or help them with the right lawyers. Having a good lawyer to support you in this journey, in this process, is really important. So you mentioned before that you found me on a YouTube video from Paxpan. The guys like this gay couple, they are really nice people. I met them and we shot 2 or 3 videos together, and we are still connected, and they are growing a lot. It was really fun to connect with them, to collaborate in the videos. Let's talk a little bit more about this gay community, this LGBT community in Spain. We see, I compare from Brazil, for example. My sister, she is homosexual. Myself, I suffer a lot of prejudice when I was young from people calling me gay, and I was feeling bad about it, especially because I realized that it's not a proper way to diminish people, and some people use that to criticize or, diminish people. I'm the guy that really fights for the right of the people, because I have my sister that's homosexual and I have many good friends, gays. I think here in Spain it's much open than many countries like like if I compare to Brazil, for example. Brazil, the discrimination, the prejudice is huge. And here, like I realized after coming to live in Spain, that being different is something normal. That's something I realized at the beginning. And in other countries like Brazil or maybe Philippines, being different, you are guilty, you are doing something wrong, like grow up with this sensation is not good. It's good to live in a place like Spain, very open mind about these topics. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the Philippines, I would say it's accepted more than before. When I grew up in the Philippines, yeah, there are a lot of prejudice, which is quite common anywhere anyways. Well, the kids nowadays are quite lucky to have this kind of environment that it's really open and it's more accepted and it's not frowned upon, or it's not, people are not judging quite a lot because it's more accepted. In New Zealand, that is where Paul and I, my husband and I, got married. It's celebrated in New Zealand, so we don't have any problems back home in New Zealand. And even before coming to Spain, we researched about, the gay community and the LGBT community here. And we know that it's really accepted in here and it's celebrated as well. We really don't have any problems with that. What surprised me, because we moved to a house that is predominantly Spanish people around us, and they're not young people. You can say they're elderly or they're at a certain age. What I've noticed is, and what surprised me, is there's no prejudice from them. They immediately know that we are a gay couple. They immediately know that we're husbands, and there are only two people living in that house, and both are men. I was introduced as mi marido, which is husband, to them, and you can't see any prejudice in their eyes. For them, it's just like common. We're married, we existed, it's normal. I don't know what they talk behind their backs, but if, face to face with them, the way they chat to them, converse with us, I don't see any prejudice or anything at all. Even when I started my business here, I didn't see any prejudice at all. Didn't experience any prejudice at all, which I'm really happy about. Even my first clients in my shop, so I just recently opened, the first few people that came in were the gay community, the LGBT community, and they're all artists, and you can see that they're living their lives in Spain, here in Estepona, Costa del Sol, as freely as they want to. And there's no shame, there's no prejudice. They can kiss, they can hold hands. It's nothing at all. So that gives me a stamp of approval that I'm in the right space, I'm in the right location, I'm in the right country. Yeah, that makes me happy.
So we both know Spain is one of the best countries to be LGBTQ community, and I'm just having a look here. Canada, Spain, Netherlands, Portugal, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Germany, France, and New Zealand and Uruguay are the best places for being LGBT community. The Madrid, Barcelona, and Berlin are one of the best cities for being. But we can include Torremolinos here as well. Torremolinos is quite famous in Costa del Sol, for having parties, like beach parties with the gay community. Also, we know that Spain was the third country which allowed same-sex marriage. And you mentioned before that New Zealand as well, they allow to get married there, and it's important to know this information because I think more and more the people are open their mind now for homosexuals. They are looking for the rights. I think it's important journey of everyone connected with this community, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be the rest of the world, isn't it? I mean, it shouldn't even be an issue. It shouldn't even be a topic. It shouldn't even be a discussion, in my opinion, because it's normal. We exist since the beginning of time, so it should be accepted in the rest of the world. But I mean, in the Philippines, it's still quite different when I was growing up, because back in the day, there are a lot of prejudice and you feel ashamed of being gay, because there are a lot of influences from Catholicism, because the Philippines is a Catholic country. We were colonized by Spain for 300 years, so we practice the same culture and the same religion. And in that religion, of course, being gay is pretty much a sin. So back in the day in the Philippines, when I was growing up gay, I can't even express myself because it's frowned upon. Even your friends will probably laugh at you and probably will be judgmental about you, and you can't really express yourself because, again, like what I said, it's frowned upon, and they would say that it's, illegal in the eyes of the country and the eyes of God. Yeah, I mean, you can discuss everything about the gay community, being gay, what's accepted, what is not. But at the end of the day, for us, it's normal. We exist, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I think it's important to share this information with people. You came from Philippines, from your country of origin, and then you moved to New Zealand, and now you are in Spain. But there are still many countries like in Saudi Arabia, like Iran, Yemen, or even Qatar. You can get death penalty. You can go to jail easy because you are gay. We are trying here to bring this information for people that want to live a better life, a happier life, to be themselves. So how do you say, to get out of the closet? Do you say in Brazil they
come
say,
out of the closet?
Come out of the closet to be themselves, to be relaxed and happy to be themselves. And this repression have to stop, because also in Russia, for example, is a country that's very repressive with gays.
We can keep on talking about the LGBT community being gay. Nobody wants to accept it. Say, for example, in the countries that you've mentioned, or in certain communities, if nobody wants to accept that being gay is normal and it exists, it's part of humanity, then who's the loser in that context? Not us. It's them, because they don't want to accept the truth behind sexuality and that we exist. There's gay people around. There's the LGBT community. That's why I think if you're in a certain space wherein you couldn't express yourself and you're having a hard time, people are judging you, the people around your family, even your family can judge you, for Christ's sake. If they're judging you, there are spaces where you can move to that accepts you and loves you, which what I did. I'm from the Philippines. It was frowned upon. It wasn't accepted when I was growing back then. So I have the option to move because my family was based primarily in New Zealand. I have that option to move, and in New Zealand it's widely accepted. It's a no-brainer. You move, because I can't be in the closet, for days and just hate myself. And what happened these days is some of them, which is quite sad, they turn into suicidal mode. Because they hate themselves. They couldn't express themselves. They couldn't come out, for the lack of a better term. And this is sad, because why couldn't you just let those kids be themselves? If they were born that way. It's not something that they chose. No.
And with this repressive culture, we can grow kids with mental problems, just be doubting themselves. They grow up with no self-confidence. For what? For maybe a suicidal, or maybe a depression later, because they don't accept themselves. And I think it's really, really important. We have a deep look inside of what society is doing in this kind of culture that repress this. I think they should change. Let me ask you, let's change a little bit the subject now. As you are living now in Spain for 4 months, you lived 10 years in New Zealand. I also lived in New Zealand for 1 year. It was a great year, one of the best years of my life for sure, because of the New Zealand culture to be very open. It's quite similar to Spain. You see in this openness, friendliness to the people that come from outside. I remember I met the guy on the beach, and I became his friend. He gave me work. He said to me, "Oh, are you from Brazil? I have a company. I go to Brazil every year. You want to work with me?" I met the guy on the beach first month, and then we are still good friends, and he's traveling around the world. He's a rich man. He gave me work, gave me a place to stay, and I met very interesting people there. I love to live in Auckland. It's a cosmopolitan place with people from all over the world. There are beautiful beaches there. But when the winter comes, run away.
It's very different.
How's been the difference between New Zealand and Spain in terms of quality in general, comparing everything, the weather, the amenities or, you know, the culture? What's...
Oh, weather is, of course. You're in the sun capital of Spain, or probably, I don't know if it's the world, but sun capital of Spain, right? Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
So it's a haven for people who loves the sun and the beach. So definitely, I would, hand on heart, I would move here if I was like young coming from the Philippines. I will go straight here because it's pretty much the same, because Philippines is a tropical country. Then moving to New Zealand, it's quite different because you get really cold winters out there.
And actually the summer is not so hot. No, like the summer is so like enjoy, but take care, it's a little bit cold sometimes.
It can be hot because the sun is striking. It's a different type of heat that you feel in New Zealand, because when the sun touches your skin in New Zealand, it burns.
Yeah.
Here it's not, probably because of humidity. But there in the summer, if the wind blows, it can get cold. Here, there's really, it's like you're in front of a blow dry because it's hot and humid, which is I don't mind. So that was a bit of a adjustment pretty much when we moved from New Zealand to Spain, because the summer is really hot and you couldn't sleep at night if you don't have air conditioning or a fan. In New Zealand, it's pretty much okay, even during the summer. One big difference is in New Zealand, we celebrate Christmas in the summer. So Christmas equals barbecue, beach, shorts, a lot of gatherings.
Yeah, that's something I also miss from Brazil. In Brazil, we celebrate the Christmas in the summer, the New Year's Eve, party. Yeah, it's the same. As I lived in New Zealand as well for 1 year, I studied there English. I realized when the winter started to come, and then the people told me, they told me like, this is the weather in New Zealand. We have 4 seasons in one day, because it's a very narrow island. It's quite small island, and then it suffers from the winds, and like it's easily to have sun, have the 4 seasons
in one day.
Yeah, that's typical weather in New Zealand. And also, New Zealand is very open and friendly country for many people, especially Brazilians. Many Brazilians go there to work, practice English, because it's quite easy to get a visa comparing to Australia or United States. Also, Ireland is a good country that many Brazilians go to make money, work, and speak English, learn English. But unfortunately, many people don't practice English. They just go there to work, and they get into communities of Brazilians or whatever. But it's the important thing is that New Zealand is a country really open for everyone from the outside to start a new life or get a different experience. Yeah,
which is pretty much the same for Spain. They're really open for everyone to enjoy the country pretty much.
So you there in New Zealand, you did the same thing, you worked as a fashion designer?
I started working first for a company, but I do a lot of learning and development, like designing, learning, training people in different leadership, sort of like that. And then when I saw the opportunity, this is also another thing. When I was in the Philippines, I couldn't really study fashion because it's very expensive. So when I moved to New Zealand, I saw the opportunity, and there are a lot of options to study fashion design. So I studied fashion design from New Zealand Academy of Fashion, and that's where it all began. Then I joined New Zealand Fashion Week 2018. Then from then on, I just became a fashion designer.
That's great.
Yeah.
Being a fashion designer here in Spain now, how was the process for you to get your work visa in Spain?
It's different because if you are from a country that is not directly, I don't know what the term, but you couldn't get immediately a visa to Spain, then you have to apply for the visa outside of Spain. You couldn't just get it from, move to Spain and then apply it within Spain. That's actually one of the steps that you have to do, is to communicate to the embassy of Spain that's within your country for you to be able to apply for the visa. There are 2 steps that you need to apply, or 2 steps that you need to apply for. One is the work permit, which allows you to work in the country, and the work visa, which allows you to live in the country. So you need to apply for the permit first, and then once you get approved for the permit, then you apply for the visa. So there's two major steps. For the work permit, I think the essentials are, one, for you to submit the business plan. So you need to write a business case, a business plan that will project and what you will do. Well, I did a 5-year business plan, pretty much. That's one of the most important part of the work permit. Second are your documents, like say, for example, your marriage certificate, all of those legal documents, they need to be certified, translated, and apostilled, especially if your documents are all in English. So you need to have a lawyer to certify it. So within the country, like in New Zealand, there are some recommended lawyers that you can go to for them to be able to certify the document. That's the first step. Once it's certified, then you contact, in New Zealand, there's like not an immigration, but like a body that helps you translate the documents into Spanish. That's the second step. And the third one is it needs to be apostilled, because for Spain, apostilling the documents are important. So that's the second essential, I think, that needs a lot of focus on. So your documents, then you've got your business plan, and then another, like what I've mentioned a while ago, the hurdle was having an address here in Spain. So that's the reason why we have to come over and then start looking for a property and start seeing what we can have, see if we can rent, so on and so forth. But pretty much those three, I think, are the essentials of the work permit. Now, when you submit it to the embassy within your country, they will, of course, acknowledge it, and then they will ask you a few questions, they ask us for an address. But the business plan was pretty much approved because it was initially approved by the Business Community of Spain, the ATA, which was done by our lawyer. That should be included in your application for the permit. Once you've got the permit approved, then you can apply for the visa. The visa is the easiest because all you need to do is submit your police clearance, which is also, again, needs to be certified, translated, and apostilled. And then your medical clearance as well for the visa. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
But of course, you had a lawyer to this process, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much you paid for the lawyer for this process of the work visa?
For the work permit, I'm not too sure. Is it 1,000 plus euros?
1,000 more or less?
Around, yeah.
How long did it take from beginning to the end, the process of getting your permit and work visa in Spain?
2-3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
It's quite quick, huh?
Yeah. But there was like a gap in between because of holidays. You know, in August, they don't really work here.
Yeah.
And then you've got Christmas and New Year, so it took us a while.
It was quite quick then. And I just remember when I lived in New Zealand, I didn't intend to work there, but I found a guy that mentioned with me that I could work if I had a working holiday visa. And I applied for the working holiday visa in New Zealand, and it was quite quick. In 1 month, I got my working visa. They call it working holiday visa, so you work while you are on vacation or studying. And I got a 1-year working visa permit, and it was really good for me to be there, work a little bit and connect with people, make some money while I was studying and learning and enjoy this different culture. It's good to have these options if you are planning to move to Spain, for example. You can apply for the work visa or the residency permit in different ways, so have just to find the right person and people to help. And in your case, for example, I remember we suggested our lawyers, and you are really happy, as I know, with the lawyers. And we normally work with them because they are really effective, quite professional and fast in everything they do. If we talk about real estate, for example, sometimes in the Saturday night or Friday night, you need to sign a reservation contract, and many lawyers, they don't work on weekends or Friday afternoon, strangely, but they don't work. And then if you have someone, a company that is really committed to the clients, they will do that for you because they will have other people. If they're not here or on vacation, they will leave this function for their secretary, but they will have the job done. And we, like dealing with real estate, for example, we are sometimes at the most important part of the deal, to sign a reservation, to make it happen quickly, and then we need someone to support. So the lawyers are really important, and the good ones, if possible, much better, right?
Yeah. Always with the right people. If you're working with the right people who's really good at what they do and they just do what they do, it's smooth.
You are opening your business store today in the Stepona downtown, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I've
that's
opened
amazing.
a week ago. So yeah, it's in Estepona town. I think it's in the old town, Calle Jesus y Maria. Yeah, so I've opened there, and hoping for the best, pretty much.
Well, thank you very much, Ruscoe, for joining us here on our podcast. Thanks for being our client. It's really nice to connect with people like you and Paul. You are great people, and I know that your family as well are coming now to join you here and enjoy this beautiful lifestyle we have. And I'm looking forward to collaborate with you to bring you clients. We're gonna leave all information about your business at the description of the video. And it was really good to help you to find a property here.
Yes.
For you to establish your new life.
Yes.
And now we are enjoying together this beautiful sun life here.
Yeah, thank you for helping us find the right property for us. Yeah, and thanks for having me.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.